Hey there. Our hearts go out to the people of Hawaii following the devastating Maui fires. If you would like to help or are in a position to donate, then the Hawaii Community Foundation has the Maui Strong Fund to directly assist the people of Maui, as well as the Maui Food Bank and Aloha Way Maui Fire Relief Fund. If you're not able to donate, then please share any of the links below to the charities and resources, as every bit helps. Let's help our friends in Maui and Hawaii. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of DeckedUP, a gaming and tech podcast. And basically, what I want to do with this episode, because it's been well over a week since I've done a podcast episode, and for those of you who may not follow me on social media or may not have seen a lot of some of the community posts that I put up on the YouTube channel, we recently had a hurricane come through Hawaii about a week ago. And then on top of that, or rather a week and a half ago, it's been over 10 days since it was in Hawaii. And we also had, on top of that, we had brush fires kick up on Maui, and then that ended up turning into one of the worst natural disasters we ever had in the state of Hawaii in recorded history. And that ended up burning down the entirety of the town of Lahaina and a good portion of Maui as a whole. So this is this has been something that has personally deeply affected me for a number of reasons, and I've been mostly quiet about a lot of the personal stuff because I don't want my efforts of trying to reach out and bring awareness and support to be um overshadowed by my own personal desire for getting the relief and aid and awareness there. So um as I've shared on social media, like some things, like I've lost some cousins and some aunts and uncles that they have been their remains have been found, and it's been very tragic having to find out that your family, people you love, that you know or you grew up with, that you may have recently seen, died horrifically by burning to death. And I've had a number of that. And, every day the death toll, the death count for the amount of bodies that they're finding has grown. It's over 100 people, like roughly as of updated via all the news outlets. I think we're at a death toll, if I'm looking at this correctly now, it's about 111 people that are currently verified as deceased, that they've recovered their bodies from. And we've also got, over 1,000 thousands that are missing, that have not been recovered. And that's been very, very hard. So I've spent the last 10 days focusing, and yes, I've released, I've had short scheduled, and I've released one review for Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, but all of my attention and effort has been on trying to raise awareness for the people of Lahaina, the people of Maui, and Hawaii as a whole, um, through means of reaching out to companies I've worked with, guests I've had on this and the other podcasts I've been on, and just trying to do everything I possibly can, because people lost everything with this fire, their livelihood, culture, history, and most of all, loved ones. And a lot of people lost their lives, and it's truly tragic to I don't even really know how to convey that through like that loss, you know. My own personal, outside of my cousins and my aunt and uncle, have been the two of my daughters, my two oldest daughters. They were there in Maui, in Lahaina, and they've been missing. So, um, thankfully, they're not, there's been nothing confirmed about them, being dead. They're just still missing. But we have gotten some hope that they are still alive. And it's one of those things where, like, they were spotted, but, it's been like a day or two since they were spotted. So I'm holding on hopes that my daughters are fine, that are there. And, I don't know if anyone here who watches or listens to this podcast, if you've ever had to deal with like the death or loss of a family member. I've buried one child. My first child I had when I was about 19, 20 years old. She ended up passing away from SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. And it's been roughly about 15 to 16 years. And that's still I'm still affected by that. I still go to therapy to deal with that trauma because it's you as a parent, you never want to have to experience burying your child. Like you should go before your child, right? So, and if you're curious as to like how bad it looks, I'll go ahead and shift over here. Shout out to KITV for Island News. So I'm gonna go ahead and just zoom in so you guys can see. Um, Stupid ads. Sorry, I get rid of these ads. But this is what Lahaina looks like right now. This whole town, as you can see, this is the devastation. Sorry, their website's acting up a little bit, so I'm trying to do my best to be able to get it fully in frame. But this is what's whole neighborhoods just completely wiped off the map. If we go further down, so as you can see, some of the stuff that's going on there around Maui. The devastation has been absolutely horrific. Um, just crazy. So, I just wanted to share that with you guys so you can understand, like to the extent of how much has been affected over there. And what I've been doing, like I said, I've reached out to various voice actors, companies I've worked with, game companies and tech companies to pull together to try and, not only raise awareness, but, donate and do calls to actions. So far, I've gotten David Hayter. You guys know him as Solid Snake and Big Boss. I've also.
Hey there. Our hearts go out to the people of Hawaii following the devastating Maui fires. If you would like to help or are in a position to donate, then the Hawaii Community Foundation has the Maui Strong Fund to directly assist the people of Maui, as well as the Maui Food Bank and Aloha Way Maui Fire Relief Fund. If you're not able to donate, then please share any of the links below to the charities and resources, as every bit helps. Let's help our friends in Maui and Hawaii. Thank you.
I've also been able to get Nick Apostolides, who you guys know as Leon for Resident Evil 4 and 2 remake.
Hey guys, I'm sure at this point many of you have seen and heard about the devastation happening in Maui right now with the wildfires. So many people have lost their lives, but people have also lost their homes, their entire communities, and their businesses. And so I'm adding a link to an organization in this post called Maui Strong Fund. I do encourage you to take a look, give it a click, and read about what they do. And if you would consider donating, all the proceeds and all the donations go straight to supporting that island. So thanks so much and have a good weekend.
as well as Mark Whitten, who you guys know from Demon Slayer and so many various projects. He was Seth in Fire Emblem Three Houses. And so, they're on board. More voice actors and celebrities are coming on board. We've got a lot of companies such as PlayStation, Nintendo is on board, Square Enix, Capcom, Kepler Interactive, Wayforward Technologies, Logitech, SteelSeries, Upset Gaming, who does the X screens for the Xbox, and so many more. That Koei Tecmo, Marvelous Interactive, EA, so many companies have pulled together that are donating, you know, massive amounts of money. Like if I were to pull together all the donations that I verified from the voice actors, from the companies and the employees of the companies from last week, Thursday till today, it's roughly $5.4 million has been brought together for the sake of, a total of donations to the Maui Strong Fund that's headed by Hawaii Community Foundation. So it's it warms my heart because I didn't think I would be able to get, much support, but people have come together for the sake of Maui, and it's just it's really it warms my heart that people are willing to come together to help us here in Hawaii because we need all the help. And if you're in a position to donate, I'll leave links in the description. The main one that I am supporting is the Hawaii Community Foundation's Maui Strong Fund. They're donating clothing, food, shelter, doing so much for the community there, and also trying to help people get back on their feet and rebuild. And then there's also the Aloha Way. They've got a Maui charity going as well. There's also the Maui Food Bank, and there's so many other resources. I'll link them all down below in the comment section of the video and within the description of the video as well as the podcast. So if you are capable, and if you're not able to donate, then consider sharing around. That's something that goes much further than you realize. And I'm also doing charity streams over on Twitch, so twitch.tv/Mekel Kasanova. I do them every Saturday and Sunday, roughly around, I want to say 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Pacific time, which would be like if you're in Hawaii, that's like 11 a.m. here. So with those streams, we're trying to raise money. I set the amount to 1,000 because I know I'm not a big streamer, but so far we've reached half that on my own doing streaming, and bringing on other content creators that also want to support with that as well. And on top of that, I also want to add that these companies that have donated, they're also donating for because we're going to be doing giveaways for people who are verified donors. So if you can verify it on any of my stream, if you donate and you donate a certain amount, you'll be eligible to get game codes or products. So currently we've got from Capcom, we got Resident Evil 4 remake for PC. We also got Street Fighter 6. And these are the deluxe edition codes, as well as other games from like Square Enix and such. And we've got physical products as well, like gifts from Logitech to give away, as well as a computer from Acer. So there's a lot going into this, and I know I'm taking up a lot of time talking about this for the podcast, but this is something that's very, very important to me. The charity streams and just raising awareness, and yeah, so just wanted to share that. And then yeah, I don't know how to go into the next topic, but yeah, this is why I haven't been making a lot of content, because that's where my focus has been. And hopefully the people that are missing are found, my daughters will be found, and we can just get back to building. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, conspiracy theory, people out here have been sharing that around, and I've really been disappointed seeing that a lot of people here are more focused on spreading and sharing conspiracy theories than coming together in many ways for raising awareness. And it's not everyone, but it's a number of people doing that, and a lot of people I know doing that, and it's very shameful. So as we say in Hawaiian, wait. It's not good. Moving on to the next topic. We're gonna go ahead and dive into it. The main thing we're talking about here on this episode, which is gonna be the more screens on the Lenovo Legion Go. You know, more's come out. Shout out to Windows Report. They got a first look at it, and I mean, depending on who you talk to, some people say they leaked this out. Um, but you know, hey, that's not my problem. We're just gonna talk about it. So the Lenovo Legion Go gaming handheld looks really nice. I'm actually liking this mock. Well, I guess this is actually official stuff. So we're gonna read through the article, but I kind of want to just look at the pictures of it first because I like the way this looks. This looks like this is gonna be very ergonomical. I like you've got the trackpad on the right side, which is going to be helpful when it comes to navigating windows. And I like the offset sticks. And then, you know, you've got your start, select, and all that functionality there, or, you know, whatever their specific buttons are, and then start and select. And hopefully the buttons look very much like the Steam Deck buttons, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm very excited because I do like the Steam Deck's buttons. I like the ROG Allies buttons as well, but I do feel I'm just more enamored with the ones that the Steam Deck has. And then it's got a built-in kickstand, so this is something that, in my opinion, puts them ahead of everyone else. And then from what I'm seeing here, you've got you've got not only your bumpers on the top, left and right, but you've got this side button, so it seems. And then you've got here, your right hand, you've got two different buttons, back paddles or back pressure buttons. And then you've got one similar to the Steam Deck on the left side. Along with, like I said, you've got the kickstand here, which is really neat. And then you've got full ventilation, so airflow is not going to be a problem. Now, the only thing I'm kind of curious about, I'm not sure if I can see here, because we're going to go ahead and zoom that in a little bit. So it seems like you got your ventilation on the top, on the back. Looks like you got a charging port on the top, power button, volume, headset. I'm not seeing, or maybe I'm blind, but I'm not seeing there be a I don't see there being a micro SD card on the slot, or if it is, because of this ventilation, it probably is going to be a lot better. They may have even gone back to the drawing board to redo this. So, you know, based off of what we're seeing with the ROG Ally. And then, you know, hopefully SD card slot will be in the back here, underneath the kickstand, similar to the Switch, or, you know, on the bottom. Now, this is taking a lot from the Nintendo Switch as far as design aesthetics. I'm going to go down because right here, we've got basically removable joysticks. And I'm hoping that they're also going to have, it looks like they're going to have wireless functionality too. But it doesn't look like they like slide on and off, kind of like the Joy-Cons on the Nintendo Switch. It looks like, you know, from the little divot we can see on the right side here, and we pair that up with here, it looks like you can put it in, and then there's a release button that allows it to detach itself. Now, if this has, I mean, it already having that similar Switch functionality, because this is very much so more similar to the Switch OLED than it is like the standard Switch, because look at that key, you know, that kickstand right there. But having detachable Joy-Cons, that, or, you know, well, yeah, Joy-Cons, let's just call it what it is, detachable Joy-Cons, to me is really rad. I really do like that. I like the fact that it has that functionality, because that's going to mean I don't need to go out and buy a whole nother separate pair of, you know, like a separate controller for use. Like I'll still have, like I got my controllers to use, but like this with me, I wouldn't have to go out of my way to go and do that. And that, you know, I'm always grateful for something like that. And I hope the lightweight, probably the battery life should be, I would say, I hope the battery life is better than what we get on Joy-Cons, because if so, it's already a winner. And having the kickstand and everything like that, I'm curious as to what the internals are like, because if it's on par with the ROG Ally, it'll be good. I'm thinking the pricing is probably going to be within the same ballpark figure as the ROG Ally, but I'm also hoping maybe they can undercut. If they can drop this at with similar specs to the Ally, but drop it for like either $599 or like five or like 650, 649. I think they would definitely be to be able to undercut Asus, especially if they're gonna have like a little bit more better optimization too. I think it would not be hard for them to dethrone, because think about it, Asus is the first major manufacturer to come at this, and this will be the secondary one. Like I told you guys before we even knew about this, all these companies were going to be doing this. You know, they're all going to be coming out with it, their own take on a Steam Deck type of competitor. So, you know, expect one from Acer, expect one from Alienware, which we know Alienware is making one. They've shown one off back in 2020, but probably they've gone back to the drawing board. But that also had this Joy-Con like functionality too. So, you know, seeing this, quite honestly, depending on the price of this, I actually would get rid of my ROG Ally for this. You know, hopefully they're not using the Genesis card reader, because that would suck. But seeing this, I like the way it looks. It looks very comfortable and ergonomic. I like the screen. Hopefully it's got a VRR screen similar to the Asus ROG Ally, can go 1080p to 120 hertz. I think that would be good. Or if they can put in there a 144 hertz screen, I think that would be awesome as well. 1080 needs to be a standard. I don't want it to be a 720p screen. Hopefully it's within the same size range of being like, you know, 7.5 to 8 inch screen. 1080p would be fine. I don't think, you know, some people say, oh, we need ones with 4K and all that. No, we don't need 4K or 2K at these size ranges. It's going to be very hard to differentiate. Hopefully this is a OLED panel. Probably not. I don't mind it being a VA or a TN panel, but hopefully it'd be an OLED, because the colors will pop and have the VRR. And you know, I think some people say they would like it to have HDR. I don't care about HDR on this. I think, you know, OLED would be fine enough, and because, you know, HDR on Windows is still not that great, if we're being completely honest. But I like the look of it. The modular buttons, so like M1, M2, and, you know, M3 and all these other, I actually, if I look closer at that, I don't see, I assume this is going to be like, it has latches on both sides, or maybe these are trigger locks, I don't know. But I assume, you know, we're going to have really good ventilation on this, and it looks like it's probably going to weigh roughly around what the ROG Ally is going to. So let's go ahead and read through this article. If we go up to the top, oh, okay, wait, looks like that's either a wrist loop for like both of the individual Joy-Cons, or it could be like how you detach it. I'm thinking it's probably going to be similar to that, you know, the loop. I forget where they go on here. Like the loops on the that you can put. Oh, well, they have the attachable. I forgot the attachment things to the Joy-Cons. It's like, I think this is probably going to have something similar to that. But we'll read the article. It says exclusive images. This is a Lenovo Legion Go gaming handheld. Here's a look at Lenovo's new gaming handheld, the Legion Go. Oh, whoa. New in-depth images with Legion Go and info about that. Let's go ahead and click on this article. So it's newer. That's cool. Okay, so it is. I know people have said that this is some of the journalists I know have said that this group has they broke embargo, so it's not really exclusive. But okay, so it's gonna have AR glasses as well, so you can connect to it, similar to like the I forgot what they're called. But a lot of people were using those glasses where you can just put it on and it's like a screen on your face. What other pictures they have? Okay, so this is additional images. Looks good. I like the look of it. This is definitely a official product. Okay, here at the top, great. We got more information here. All right, they do on the top. There is a micro SD card reader on the top. You got their volume rocker, USB-C, auxiliary input power button, speakers on the top. and then you've got the thermal fan. Now, okay, I know a lot of people are gonna probably rag on this for having the micro SD card readers on the top, but at least on this, as opposed to how it is on the ROG Ally, it is on the right side away from the micro SD card readers. So that is a better ergonomical or better design than what we got with ROG Ally. On the bottom, okay, so we got mode switches. So on the bottom, there is FPS mode switch and then mouse sensor. That's interesting. I'm curious how that's going to work. Like, is there going to be a sense of where like you can pull off the Joy-Con and it works like a mouse? I don't know. I'm very curious about that. And then you got a USB-C port on the bottom. So 2 USB-C ports is dope. I wonder if they're going to have a proprietary dock to take advantage of the port on the bottom. But if anything, any of the docks that we already have, or, you know, like if you've got any of the docks you got for the Steam Deck, you know, like various docks like these, or if you've got USB-C hubs like the ones from Anker or whatever, you should be fine. You know, you'll be able to use this. Let's see what else we got. So detachable, so the Legion L and Legion R type of joy pads. All right. We got one trackpad. It doesn't need 2 trackpads. One trackpad to me is fine. So view, menu, D-pad. I hope the D-pad is good. The D-pad on the ROG Ally is amazing. So I hope this is equally as good. And then more details in it. Left and right bumper. We got the modular Y1 and Y2, and both of them, okay, I was correct. They do have like the quick release button similar to the Joy-Cons, but they're on the bottom. So you press the release button on the bottom and I assume it goes detachable. Then you've got, okay, thermal holes, kickstand, mouse wheel. That's interesting. I wonder how that functions. Right trigger M1, M2. On the side, M3 on the back, Y3. Okay. I'm digging this. You got a lot of modularity with this, so I like this. Okay. AMD Ryzen Z1 series, so this is going to be using a similar chipset as the ROG Ally. Okay, so pulling it apart. Okay, so you got the big fan. So it only has one fan. But I hope this is like more industrial. Because the one thing about the Ally is got dual fans. This only has one that we're seeing. So that's interesting. So I'm assuming this is going to be a high-powered one. I think dual fans is better because, you know, better thermals, but we'll see. And then I guess this is a breakdown. We'll come back to that in a second. So, okay, intake and outtake. All right, so it seems like it might be a high-powered intake. All right. All right, so let's go through and read this article. I was going to read the last one, but I think this one might as well go with the more updated one, right? So exclusive AR glasses from Lenovo Legion Go, release date and new images. Lenovo's AR glasses might change the way you game. I'm digging that. The only thing is I'm gonna have to wear some contacts because I can't wear my current glasses with those type of glasses. So it says the Legion Go gaming handheld is Lenovo's answer to on-the-go gaming, but it has to go against the likes of Steam Deck, ROG Ally, Neo, or even Nintendo Switch. Can it keep up or even surpass with the latest and greatest from Valve and Asus? You're about to find out as we've got our hands on some incredible images and new info about how powerful the new console might be. We already unveiled the general look, which was the previous article that we looked at. And features of the Legion Go, thanks to our exclusive and reliable sources, we've got more in-depth detailed photos, including a port breakdown and a close inside look and some AR glasses that might be bundled with it. Before we dive in, here are a couple things to know. The Legion Go is Lenovo's new gaming handheld that will support Windows 11. It will likely be officially unveiled at IFA 2023, and they said they'll also be there, alongside a plethora of other gaming gear. It's set to go against the likes of the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, and Neo. The console combines some of the best hardware features of its competitors. The console might also come bundled with AR glasses. And if they do come with that, I'm assuming the price is going to probably be the same as the ROG Ally. So there's no price or availability info yet, but we'll keep you updated. So this is not Lenovo's first attempt at a gaming handheld. Remember the Legion Play? I do remember that. A lot of people actually think this is the same as that, but yeah, Android cloud gaming is just still not there. And yeah, they never launched that. So what it seems the company is finally ready to compete in the handheld space. So the Lenovo AR glasses, what we know so far. First, let's start with the most intriguing piece of information, Lenovo's AR glasses. According to our reliable sources, it seems that Lenovo is preparing to launch an entire gaming ecosystem alongside the Legion Go. Among the accessories is a new pair of Legion AR glasses specifically tweaked for gaming. Lenovo isn't new in the AR space or augmented reality space, but the company focused on business and productivity in the past and less so on the consumer side. Think Reality A3 smart glasses is an excellent example of that, as the device is better for workspace scenarios than anything else. Last year, the company attempted to bring to market a pair of AR glasses for the masses, but now that might become a reality. It says the augmented reality market has some offerings, but none that offer enough features and usability to become mainstream until Apple makes the Vision Pro widely available and much cheaper. There's no real competition for a mainstream device for everyday users. Maybe Lenovo will change that. We don't have any confirmed specs or release date for the Legion AR glasses, but we might see them at IFA 2023 alongside the Legion Go. Based on the images we have, the glasses should be small enough to wear through long gaming sessions with only one USB cable connecting them to any device, most likely for power, which means no standalone battery. That's how many of these AR glasses are, so I'm not really surprised by that. The Lenovo or the Legion AR glasses could also feature a high refresh rate and other gaming specific features, as the Legion branding implies they're made specifically for that. That's a good thing, as it will mean they'll be great for everyday tasks too. Finally, a pair of AR glasses that we can actually use. Well, that's more of a question. Says we don't we don't know if the Legion AR glasses will come as a standalone device, most probably, or with the Legion Go. Still, our pictures indicate that both devices will work together seamlessly, especially with the Legion Go's USB-C port at the bottom, which means the cable won't interfere with your controls. This might also point to a possible launch bundle with the two products. Imagine pairing the two and having access to your Game Pass or Steam games anywhere on a giant screen right in front of you. Isn't that a great promise? I agree, it is. I would absolutely love that. Like I said, this is shaping up to be something that would make me get rid of my ROG Ally, or at least give that over to my wife, and that'll be something she can use for like more powerful games. So let's start with the obvious. Legion Go couldn't be more different, but the same as most of its competitors. It's not just another handheld, but it's a device that takes the best features we think from the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, and Nintendo Switch and combines them under one roof. So let's look at the design ergonomics. Now, hopefully they give us, I'm not sure if this is removable thumbsticks, but hopefully these have the Hall effect sensors in them, because that would literally set them apart from everyone else. But it says the Legion Go might be similarly sized to the Steam Deck and ROG Ally, but boasts a bigger 8-inch 16:9 or 16:10 screen. According to our images, the bezels could be much smaller than on other devices, adding to a better gaming experience. I agree with it. So it's got two mics on the front here, and then speakers on the top. I kind of prefer having speakers front facing, or like maybe the whole thing is a speaker here, but you know, I can live with speakers being on the top. The Joy-Cons use a pretty classic button placement, and from what we can see, the device might have Hall effect joysticks, hopefully, knock on wood. Besides the D-pad and ABXY, the front includes a menu and view buttons, Legion L and Legion R buttons, and a trackpad similar to what Valve's Steam Deck has. So that trackpad is going to be great. I know some people like having two, but I think having one for navigating Windows is going to be so great. And plus, like, you know, and the reason a trackpad on this and being able to pull up a menu and view, because if you look at the ROG Ally, the docking experience with that is not great, because it's still it leans on you needing to have like a dock and also have, wireless mouse and keyboard, because it's still Windows. It's not, even with their front load Asus gaming software as an overlay, it's still on top of Windows, and there's the jank that's going to come with that. You're going to get that with any Windows handheld device. So, but having a trackpad to be able to maneuver around menus and all that is going to be great. So it says each Joy-Con has a release button on the back alongside 2 back triggers, and the classic L left trigger left bumper, right trigger right bumper. We can also see some intake thermal holes in the back of the device with the exhaust on the top side. This means your hands should stay nice and cool during long gaming sessions. If you ever get tired, there's also a switch light stand to prop it up anywhere you want. The biggest thing, I mean, I like that it's got the 2 thermal intake sides on the back, but it's still 1 fan versus 2. So with that type of if the screen is a 16 by 10, if it's 1080 with VRR, I feel like we're probably going to be getting something that might get a little warmer than the ROG Ally at least. I don't know how I feel about that, because I would rather, with 2 thermal intake holes, I'd rather there be, a fan here and a fan here, to keep it cool overall. But then again, they might have one really high powered fan that's going to be able to keep the whole device cool. And also, I'm curious about the thermals, but still the SD card readers on the top left. Hopefully, it's not near anywhere where it can get overheated, and I also hope that it's got better thermal pasting and thermal compound on it, and just better housing, and it's not the Genesis reader. Anyways, the last exciting thing on the back of the right Joy-Con is a strategically placed mouse wheel. We can't say for sure what it's for, but if it's programmable or has a dynamic behavior, we can see a use for it in mini games, with zoom being just one use case. So games and user interface. According to our sources, the Legion Go will support Windows 11, which is excellent news for all those PC gamers. We don't have any other info regarding a proprietary side OS or maybe a Lenovo dedicated user interface, but the fact that it will run Windows 11 out of the box is a considerable advantage, which it is. I know a lot of people don't like Windows, as James and I, or aka Games Revealed, and I were saying on his podcast. If y'all didn't check it, go. I'll link that down below. Go check out his podcast. Having Windows is a benefit, because you can play literally everything, and a lot of the hate for Windows is really blown out of proportion. A lot of people just don't know how to use Windows, or you got the people who are the Linux fanboys who are they're the most vocal, and then you've got the people that only know Mac OS, and they don't really like anything else. So, but having Windows, which means you have universal support across the board. So it says, imagine playing any of your PC AAA titles on the go, which we'll come back to that in a minute. Put playing AAA titles in perspective, but we'll come back to that. On the go on a big enough screen that also seems to be a touchscreen. Again, this is unconfirmed, but based on the size of the screen, the size of the bezels, and number of inputs the console offers, it's a somewhat safe assumption. Regarding games, you'll be able to access any of your current PC titles and more. Your FPS count may vary, but based on the fact that the console will support AMD's Phoenix processors, performance shouldn't be an issue unless you're going for 4K gaming or higher. Which, yeah, I would never recommend trying to do 4K or even 1440p gaming on this. Stick to 1080p, which, what's the, if it's going to have AMD Phoenix processors, it's fine for that. I wouldn't, especially the AMD Z1 Phoenix processor. Yeah, I wouldn't try to go above that. And don't realistically expect every game to have 1080p 120 hertz support if this does have a VRR screen. So while there aren't any official performance figures, our images show enough to go on. Most importantly, the Legion Go will support an AMD Ryzen Z1 processor, specifically designed for handheld Windows-based devices. That also confirms that the console will come with Windows 11 out of the box. Pair that with the performant cooling system and possibly Thunderbolt ports, which if it does have that, I'm going to be excited. And we could have a great package from Lenovo. The presence of a micro SD card reader and 3.5mm combo audio jack are also some excellent additions to improve the usability and versatility of the console. So it says, here's a quick comparison of the Legion Go and its main competitors based on what we know right now. All right, so architecture, so the Legion Go is going to have the AMD Z4 and RDNA 3. The Ally has the same type of thing, whereas the Steam Deck has AMD Zen 2 and RDNA 2. So, this is probably going to be pretty much on par with the Ally, if not a little bit more powerful. So APU, this is going to be using the AMD Phoenix base 8C 16T up to 5.1 gigahertz, whereas the Ally has the Ryzen Z1 Extreme AC 16T up to 5.1 gigahertz. So like I said, very variable, very comparable. And then they also got the Z1 Non-Extreme, which they have not released yet. Whereas the Steam Deck has the AMD Van Go 4C8T up to 3.5 gigahertz. So all three of these are more powerful than the Steam Deck. So SoC GPU. So AMD iGPU for 12CU at 2.7 gigahertz for the Legion Go. And that's the same as the ROG Ally with the Z1 Extreme, not so much the regular Ryzen Z1. The Valve Steam Deck has AMD iGPU 8CU at 1.6 gigahertz. So SoC TDP, they haven't announced any of that. So pretty much everything except for the OS is not known. So just keep all that in mind. So we don't know what the wattage is, external GPU, memory capacity, or anything. I feel that the memory capacity is going to be the same as the ROG Ally. And I also think the storage is, they're probably going to do 256 and 512. If they really want to take a market from Asus, drop a 1 terabyte model at the same price as the Z1 Extreme ROG Ally, and you're going to have people lining up to buy it. That to me is, that would be a game changer. If 256 is not enough if you're going to get AAA titles, and if you're going to emulate on top of it, you're going to need more storage. 512 is already not enough, especially for PC gaming. I hope the battery is higher than 40 watt. So it needs to be higher than 40 watt hour. I'm hoping if the going off of the design, probably make it a 60 watt or 70 if they can squeeze that in. But yeah, we don't know the pricing yet, so we're gonna find out more. So battery and cooling. So based on sources and images we have, the battery life might be better than expected. There's no exact number yet, but the thickness of the devices hints at a decent enough capacity. While the top back half seems dedicated to cooling and air management, the bottom half is almost exclusively battery. Remember that mileage may vary depending on the use scenario, as with all other handhelds. We see a large back intake and a top-mounted exhaust for cooling, with a single fan on the console's upper side. The only concern here might be the noise levels and how Lenovo dealt with fan profiles based on the performance output. But we'll find out more about this when we test it. So yeah, just stay tuned for more information on that. So availability and price. Currently, there's no info regarding the availability or price of the Lenovo Legion Go. Our best guess is that we'll see the new gaming handheld at the IFA 2023 event. We'll also be present, so there to confirm all the specs and details, maybe a Q4 official launch this year. I can definitely see this dropping either the end of this year or beginning of next year. Probably, if they want to get the most money, drop it closer to the holiday season. And if we got this much already, they're probably ready to start putting this on shelves. They need to put this in stores. So I would, go the same route, partner with Best Buy and have it in there so people can walk in and buy it there. Also, I would say put it in GameStops. Like this would sell in GameStops. Put it in GameStops, people buy it. Hell, put it in Walmarts. Anywhere you can buy a computer, Walmart, Target, Fry's, Micro Center, wherever, wherever you can walk in and buy it, if it's available to purchase, that's going to be major. And then says regarding the price, their estimate is going to be closer to the Ally. And I agree. I definitely think it's going to be under $1,000. I think it's going to have a similar specs to the Ally. I just think they should undercut them by $50 to $100. So that's just my opinion. Nothing's going to come at the same price as the Steam Deck, but it can come at the same price. The Ally set the standard. So every other company is going, if they're going to enter this space, they're going to have to enter at this space at the same price point, or like slightly below, slightly above. It cannot be a $8 to $1,000 device. So that is yeah. Um that's everything with this article. Removable Joy-Cons is a bonus. Dual intake is a bonus. Hopefully it's got really good cooling. I like the chip that they're going to be using on it. Trackpad, the modular functionality of the buttons. I am deeply on board with this. The only thing I can say, like, I'm very curious as to how the mouse wheel works. I want to know more about that. The modular buttons, having different buttons on each side, is going to be, you're going to have to get muscle memory to remember a lot of that. But curious about this mouse sensor. I'm curious about the mode switch. I'm assuming if you got a mouse wheel and it's a mouse sensor, I'm thinking you can hold it kind of like a regular Joy-Con like this. And if you're on a, you know, device, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I think it would be cool. The micro SD card reader on the top. Hopefully, we don't have overheating issues. I will, like, when this comes out, I'll be picking this up. I will definitely be picking this up, and I'll be doing coverage on this. So definitely look forward to that. Other than that, hopefully Hall effect sensors and sticks. I'm excited for this device. And the AR glasses, that looks cool, but for me, I'm gonna have to have like contacts in. But yeah, if it comes, definitely if it comes at the same price as the Ally and it comes bundled with those glasses, that's a guaranteed selling. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about as far as that. I'm really excited for that and the information that we've gotten. So shout out to Windows Report for covering or leaking that, depending on who you talk to. Other things I want to talk about, I want to bring up the Switch. So as you guys know that there are rumors that we're going to be getting a new Switch variant. I'm going to close that. So it's Switch 2 rumors. This is from Tom's Guide. The person that wrote this article is Roland Moore Collier. So it says Nintendo Switch 2 rumors, everything we know so far. So I know we've had like Super Metal Dave 64 and many others for years say that, hey, the Switch Pro. But we actually have confirmation that Nintendo will be releasing a new Switch device. They haven't publicly made a statement, but on calls they've mentioned it, and also other developers have mentioned it as well. And we do know that there's a Mario game on the way that is specifically for the new Switch. So it says Nintendo Switch 2 could be on the way. So here's what we've heard and we think so far. The image credit goes to Tom's Guide. So it says, while far from official, the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors are starting to pick up pace. Given the Nintendo Switch is 6 years old and based on age and hardware, it's likely that the Japanese gaming giant is working on a replacement console. And that console is likely to be the Switch 2. While Nintendo tends to introduce wholly new consoles for home use that build upon the features and power of their successors, or will they go for something completely new? See the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube years. Very different. Both those consoles were failures. Some of the best games, but outside first party, they were both failures. It's been more iterative with its handheld machines. As such, we'd be rather confident that the next big games machine from Nintendo will be the Switch 2, even if it isn't given a name. We're hoping to see big improvements in power. An OLED display is standard, and the ability to output in 4K and keep up with the best TVs you can buy right now. Which, yeah, it definitely needs to be able to have a 4K capability, because we have 8K TVs and monitors coming out. You can record in 8K, you can watch movies and stuff in 8K, and 12K is also right around the corner. So yeah, they need to have a 4K capability. So with that in mind, here's what we think we know so far about the Nintendo Switch 2, as well as what we like to see. And then this is updated. So new Mario game has been tipped for the Nintendo Switch 2, and they're going to be using Unreal Engine 4. They've also gotten some tips that it'll probably be $400 to like $50 more than the OLED. Likely have an LCD display, but also there'll be a 512 gig onboard storage, which yeah, it needs that. The Switch is woefully they need more internal storage. So it's given a pair of recent rumors have popped up hinting at the teasing of the experience of a Switch 2. We cautiously suggest a second generation Switch could arrive around the next 12 months, which that makes sense. It's apparently said to be released around the same time as PS5 Pro, which is dumb. I don't know why we're having that. While we had originally hoped Nintendo's latest hardware could arrive in 2023 during the company's annual financial report, President Shintaro Furukawa confirmed there are no plans to release any hardware during the next fiscal year. That means we should not expect a Switch 2 until sometime after March of 2024. A release in the first quarter of 2024 was given some weight by a report from Chinese investment site Money DJ, which, when outlining the production outtook at Hangzhou, a metal cases manufacturer and subsidiary of Hon Hai Technology Group, expects the company to benefit from the launch of the Switch 2, presumably by manufacturing parts of the console. The same production then reported that sources for a CMOS sensor provider, which has Nintendo as a customer, know that a new Japanese game console is due to launch in early 2024. So I could definitely see this launching in March. March 4th or so would be nice, because that would be, around the same time the Switch launched. So they said they're taking this to referring to Nintendo Switch 2. The majority of reports suggest that launch in 2024 is being targeted, but sources with knowledge of Nintendo's next generation console plans suggest Nintendo's planning for a release in the second half of next year. So as for price, the Switch OLED comes in at $350. So we would hazard a guess to say the next generation Switch would sit around that price point, especially if it does indeed make use of an OLED display. But we've heard so much that it's going to be LCD. However, a recent leak from a tipster with a fluctuating reputation for accurate information has claimed that Nintendo Switch 2 will cost roughly about $399. So it's about $50 more than Switch OLED, but would also make sense as a time when the cost of hardware tends to be trending upwards. So their rough estimation of the specs. So they're going to stick to a system on a chip from NVIDIA, likely with some next generation take on the Age Tegra X1 chip found in the current Switch. So they'd not be surprised if Nintendo got a custom chipset from NVIDIA as well, given the success and scope of the Switch. But advancements by AMD, as seen with the Valve Steam Deck, could put Team Red with an outside chance of providing the silicon for a next generation Switch, but we still err on the side of NVIDIA. I personally wouldn't mind if they put something, like if they took the AMD Z1 Extreme chip and put that in Switch 2, man, think about the power and performance of that. But I do think, because they have an exclusive contract with NVIDIA, I do expect it to be another mobile chipset from them. Hopefully it's something that can be on par with the Z1 Extreme, because we're getting to a point where if you can't port games to the Switch, we're already seeing how vast of a, the dynamic scale difference between like games on the Switch versus other platforms, and they need to bring a level parity. So, because if it's going to become as hard as it is now, a lot of games are just going to be skipping the Switch entirely. So, it said, in fact, after a chaotic rumor tipping a Tegra chip based on Samsung, I think they meant to say Samsung's 5nm processor node, which is then refuted by the tipster it originated from. So we feel that the Switch 2 will definitely have some form of NVIDIA chip at heart. It would be difficult to guess at potential power or clock speeds, but we'd like to hope that Nintendo taps into enough CPU and GPU power to deliver a next generation gaming experience. There were murmurs of a potential co-processor chip to live in the dock of the Switch 2 or the once rumored Switch Pro, This extra chip would be used to boost the console's power and video output when docked and connected to a 4K TV. Such a feature would be neat, but rumors around it have fallen quiet. They definitely, if they could make it with that level of modularity, like similar to Asus's XG Mobile, then I think, you're going to be able to future proof it for at least another 7 years. So onboard storage has been tipped at 512, which would be a significant upgrade over 32 and 64 gigabytes of the original Switch and Switch OLED, respectively. So talking about the display, so on the display side, we can see the Switch 2 going for an OLED panel, much like that of the Switch OLED, but hopefully a boost in refresh rates would be good. Say taking the 60 hertz display and boosting it to 120 hertz, as seen in the best phones. There are no rumors to support this, but we've got fingers crossed. I can see them putting a 120 hertz panel on this. Because 120 hertz is becoming the bare minimum. 90 and 120 hertz. If they don't do 120 hertz, then do a 90 hertz display. So, however, Sharp, which makes the current Switch displays, has said it's working on a new LCD panel for a new gaming console. That could be Switch 2. If that is the case, then it could be disappointing, as the Switch 2 may come with a more dated screen tech than the Switch OLED. There's a chance Sharp could be referring to another as yet unannounced console, but we're a little concerned the Switch 2 might not use OLED panels as standard. So their fears have been further increased by the recent rumor suggesting that the Switch 2 will launch with an LCD display in order to keep production costs down, and a new rumor from tipster Nate the Hate further adds fuel to the rumor that the Nintendo Switch 2 could have an LCD display. All right, so let's talk about this next part of the article. So the features of the Switch 2. So there's precious little in the way of hints about the Nintendo Switch 2's features, but we can apply some educated guesswork. If the Switch 2 sticks to the same control scheme as the Switch, we'd like to see it improve the Joy-Cons so they suffer less from potential stick drift, and having analog triggers for more precise control in the likes of racing games. Some tweaks to the ergonomics, if Nintendo does indeed stick with the Switch's core design, would also be appreciated with the Switch 2. We'd like to see a boost in battery life, as the Switch tends to run out of juice in a handful of hours from running games like Breath of the Wild, and I'd also throw in Tears of the Kingdom. So a bigger battery would certainly help make it a more viable a gaming machine for things with like long international flights. Yeah, because I took my Switch LED with me when I went to LA, and it lasted the whole flight. But definitely, like, I didn't play a lot of Tears of the Kingdom because that was draining the battery quick. One other feature we'd like to see is improved Wi-Fi connectivity. Yeah, I would like to see it have Wi-Fi 6. So it might not be the first upgrade that springs to mind, but better Wi-Fi can be a dramatic upgrade when it comes to things like game streaming or simply downloading games at speed. Yeah, because downloading games right now, even when docked, it's still slow. I'd want it to have Wi-Fi 6. The dock should have a gigahertz download capability. And the other thing I'm going to talk about and add in there is I would like it to have the capability of, I want them to make a better interface when it comes to like the store, better organization functionality, folder support and such. Like the Switch as it is now is great, but trying to go through your library as well as going through the Nintendo shop is not the greatest. So I hope that they do a whole overhaul and also make the online experience, like being able to have chat functionality built into it, having parties, separate areas for like, streaming services and entertainment options. Like they need to Nintendo needs to give it the times. That's what I'm saying. All right, so switch to games. So far, only a new Mario game has been tipped for the Nintendo Switch 2, and it'll apparently be based on the established Unreal Engine 4. We can expect to see other big first-party games from the Switch 2. Definitely, they're going to have a Zelda in the works. Likely a new version of Mario Kart, but potentially other games exist only in the realms of speculation and imagination at the time of writing. So Nintendo Switch's backwards compatibility. So one feature we'll really hope to see in the Switch 2 is backwards compatibility, especially given the appetite we've seen for such capabilities on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. So hopefully running older Switch games on newer hardware would result in a performance boost and improved visual fidelity. Nintendo typically tends to keep backwards compatibility to a point. If you think about it, going from the GameCube to the Wii had backwards compatibility with the GameCube, and then the Wii U had backwards compatibility with the Wii. So this should have backwards compatibility, in my opinion, with the Switch. So they shouldn't, and I don't know if they're going to stick with a cartridge format, which they probably will, given that we've seen like the $10 increase in Switch games, starting with Tears of the Kingdom. But it should still be able to read Switch cards, in my opinion. Like, there's no point to ditch that. So rather worrying is a new rumor that has claimed the backwards compatibility for the Switch games might not happen for the Switch 2. That would be a bit disappointing, and would need Nintendo to have a stellar launch lineup for a next-gen Switch if it won't rely on its older and established game library. We have also argued that backwards compatibility will need to extend to the Switch Joy-Cons as well. So backup Joy-Cons can be an expensive extra for the current Switch, so if they are rendered moot with the Switch 2, that would be rather disappointing. And we hope other existing Switch accessories like the Ring Fit Adventure and external controllers will also be usable with the Switch 2. I agree. Like they could go the route where like with PlayStation 5 you can still use PS4 controllers and accessories, but they don't work with the PS5. Or they could just go the whole Xbox route and your Xbox One controllers have full compatibility with any Xbox Series X and X games. So if they go that route, they'll be more pro-consumer, but Nintendo is not the most pro-consumer company out there, so keep that in mind. Other than that, Switch 2 Outlook is explaining it's still early days for the Switch 2 rumors. There's not a lot of hard and fast information floating around. Nintendo's famously tight-lipped about what it's working on, so we can't expect to see a myriad of leaks anytime soon. But the time is arguably nigh for a new and more powerful Switch or overall Nintendo console, and Switch 2 could be the answer. So that's it for that topic. I'm definitely hoping that they do, like I said, I'd love it to have an OLED screen. If they don't have it, I'm not gonna cry over it. But if they can have a screen similar to like the ROG Ally, I'm fine with that. But I prefer OLED. Um, Joy-Cons need to stay modular. It being able to go from a handheld to a full console experience, docked would be great too. Or maybe not even need the dock. Maybe they can build everything in it. 512 gigs of storage is a need. I definitely think they need to maintain that, and backwards compatibility with the Switch games as well as Switch controllers is a must. You're gonna harbor a lot of goodwill because people have amassed so many things for the Switch that it's going to be hard to say, hey, all that's moved coming up on the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be. And just a better storefront and library navigation, everything like that. That's what I would want. So moving on from there, the last topic I want to bring up is I want to bring up about the Steam Deck. So you guys know, we've got Valve has officially started selling certified refurbished Steam Decks. Now they're completely out of stock as of now, but all three variations you can get refurbished units. And so I was thinking probably down the road I'll probably buy another Steam Deck, probably get a refurbished one and go from there, just because I still want to tinker around with the Steam Deck here and there, but I'm not completely like it's not going to be my main gaming platform. But I'd still like to have a Steam Deck because one of the things I'll say is, regardless of all these handheld PC gaming devices that are coming out, none of them are really going to beat the ease of use that Valve has created with the Steam Deck. And while it was incredibly rough and rocky at the beginning of the Steam Deck and for the majority of 2022, using a Steam Deck in 2023 is just, it's so easy. And no matter how powerful these Windows devices are that are coming out, that ease of use is, you're not topping that. So, trackpads, docking is so solid, managing, connecting headsets to do party chat and everything built into it. You're just not beating that. But yeah, so you've got the 64 gig the 256 and 512 gig models for the Steam Deck. So the 64 gig will be about $319. The 256 is $419, and the 512 is $519. Now, some people don't like buying refurbished devices, but I will say that there's nothing wrong with refurbished devices, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and dive into what they're talking about with this. Let me make the screen a little bit bigger. So certified refurbished. So each certified refurbished Steam Deck has been thoroughly tested to the same high standards as our retail units. Every device goes through a complete factory reset, software update, and extensive examination involving over 100 tests at one of Valve's facilities. Among the tests are all controller inputs, the audio system, the screen, and internals. Battery health is also assessed to ensure proper functionality and longevity. All refurbished units meet or even exceed the performance standards of new retail units. Although they may have minor cosmetic blemishes, they provide a reliable, high-quality gaming experience at a lower cost. So all certified refurbished Steam Decks include the same 1-year warranty as a new Steam Deck, unless longer, as determined by your country of residence. There's I skipped a little. A refurbished power supply, fully tested, which may have some minor cosmetic marks, as well as the carry case and quick start guide. So portability means power. So this is all the same information we know about the Steam Deck. I don't need to regurgitate any of this, but yeah. So if you have additional questions about it, they do have an FAQ. Now, I would not at all expect that this is going to be in stock frequently. So, these are undercutting. I think they're like, what, $80 cheaper to $100. So like a brand new Steam Deck, 512 gig is $649. So refurbished is $519. 256 is $419. Brand new is, I believe, $599. Let me go look and see what the price of brand new is, so I can be more accurate in that. Yeah, so $650, $529, and $399. These are all available now to buy. Yeah, so $529, so it's $100 off. This is $120 off, $130 off, and then we've got $80 off the lower end. So these are great values. If you're looking to get a Steam Deck and you don't mind being refurbished, like if these come in stock, this is definitely what I would push you towards getting. If you don't, you want to save some money, this is worth it. So I'll probably pick up 512 gig, or I might even get a 64 gig and just put in, because I'm going to be upgrading my ROG Ally. I'm going to be putting a 2 terabyte drive in, and I might even just get a 64 gig and Steam Deck refurbish and just put that 512 in the Steam Deck and be good. So yeah, I mean, not bad at all. Definitely, I'm looking forward to this. To getting one down the road, eventually, not anytime soon, but down the road, I'll pick one up. And I think these are great values, very, very great values. But as far as I know people are wondering about Steam Deck 2. I know I've done videos like last year covering that. I will say this: as far as the Steam Deck 2, I would expect it within another year and a half, maybe 2 years. I don't see Valve having a need right now to push out a brand new Steam Deck. Like, Steam Deck's already a year old. I think once we hit like mid next year, 2024, that's when we're going to start hearing more about like a Steam Deck 2. So I would hazard to guess that's when you should like be more comfortable to expect that to happen. Last little bit, I know this is a much longer episode, but I'm really covering up for things I was going to do individual episodes on. But last thing I want to talk about is talking about the ROG Ally after 2 months with it. And I've had essentially over 2 months with my ROG Ally, and the experience has been aside from occasional issues with Windows where I had to do like one factory reset, and issues with like Ratchet and Clank not running on it, but they run on the deck. But apparently that's been fixed, but I haven't gone back to test. And then the micro SD card reader issue. So I had the one terabyte SanDisk brick, and then I also had issues with the 512 card getting brick too. That's also SanDisk. But since then, I haven't used any type of external micro SD cards with it. I kept everything on the internal. Occasional issues with Windows and Asus's Armory Crate software, Armory Crate SC software. So that, there are times where I just had to reboot the ROG Ally to get it to work properly. But then that's true of like any Windows device. If it sits idle and sleeping, sometimes that just screws with it. But for the most part, gaming has still been great. I've not had any issues other than like Ratchet and Clank having issues with crashing. I play games like Call of Duty, Baldur's Gate 3 runs great on it. Diablo 4 has been great on it, as well as Diablo 2. I've been playing StarCraft with my mouse and keyboard on it, so that's been great. And just, I don't really have any complaints. Like, I play open beats of rage games like Legend of the Double Dragon and Ultimate Double Dragon, AM2R, another Metro 2 remake, the games on Epic Game Store. Actually, I've had Alan Wake Remastered crash on me, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna have to play that opening on my desktop and then try it out again on the Ally. But other than that, Stranger Paradise and everything I've thrown at it runs great. So I don't, as an update, it's still running good for me, and I'm still grateful and enjoying my purchase. To be, if I'm being completely honest. But that's this episode of Decked Up. Hopefully, you guys got caught up and you understand, why I've been gone, why there's been a lack of content, and everything I've been working on and trying to do to raise awareness and funds for the people of Maui. Hopefully, you guys are satisfied with all the news coverage and covering the refurbished Steam decks, following up 2 months with the ROG Ally, the Lenovo Legion Go, Switch 2 rumors. We got to cover everything. Everything got covered here. And also make sure you check out the podcast I did with James of Games Revealed. That was a really fun episode. We're going to be doing more episodes. I'm going to be on his podcast a lot more. He'll be coming back on Decked Up again. So definitely look forward to that. And all that being said, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you like. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, comment, subscribe, become a channel member if you want. If you're listening to it on, any podcasting outlet, leave a rating and a review. Let us know, give us some commentary. A review, don't even leave a review. Just give commentary on what you think on the episodes you've been hearing so far. And other than that, the other thing I can say is if it's on your heart or you have the capability of donating to either, the Hawaii Community Foundation's Maui Strong Fund or to Maui Food Bank or to Aloha United Ways Maui fundraiser that they're doing, then do so. There's other resources available. I'll leave all that in description as well as the first pinned comment on the YouTube video. And, if you're not in a position to donate, then, just share it around because, where you may not be able to financially, donate, somebody, possibly could. And, every little bit helps. Doesn't cost much for an act of kindness, hitting the share button or, making a tweet or a post about it doesn't, it costs nothing. It's free. And that, little bit that you do can go to actually saving someone's life or changing someone's life. So if it's on your heart, then please do that. All that being said, that's the episode of Decked Up. Good to be back. Expect more content. Got more things I'm doing reviews on. I got to do this from BenQ. They sent this to me and they've been waiting on it. And I need to get back to them with a review for that. You got some other devices that I'm working on as well. So, yeah. Expect some stuff to be coming, stuff down in the works. So all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, have aloha, and I'll see you guys around. Peace.